Right. Now, how do you select competencies? Now, competencies are a mix of technical and professional practice, interpersonal, business, and management skills, which we discuss. So now this is the quantity survey and construction pathway guide. You remember that I discussed about two guides. One is candidates guide, that is common for all the pathways, 22 pathways. Then for all the 22 pathways individually, they have a pathway guide, which governs which gives the details about that particular pathway. Okay, we will come to that now. So you can identify three types of candidate competencies. One is mandatory. So those are personal, interpersonal, professional practice, and business skills. That is common for all the pathways. So these mandatory competencies common for all the pathways. They have 10 mandatory competencies. These are kind of management, interpersonal, and ethics related competencies. Then you have technical core. These are the primary skills of your chosen pathway. So if you are a quantity surveying and construction, the technical core competencies are focused on quantity surveying. Yeah. Usually you have to select 6 competencies for technical and core. At the moment, they are giving 7 competencies or 8 competencies. Out of that, you have to select 6. Yeah, we will come to that in detail now. And then technical optional. That is, you select as the candidate additional skill requirements for your pathway from a list of competencies relevant to the area of practice. Okay, that is again, these optional competencies also relevant to your pathway. You have to select 2 of them. Okay, so that means mandatory 10, technical 6, technical core 6, technical optional 2. So altogether you will have 18 competencies. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's go to the pathway guide. So you see, this is candidates guide. It is common for all the pathways, and this is pathway guide. Right. If you go to the pathway guide, again, I downloaded from the internet since I want to take it very updated one. So that will tell us what are the competencies, and they will give detailed descriptions of the competencies. Yeah, and explanations. So mandatory competencies, technical competencies, and then they will give an introduction about the APC and the levels of the competencies. We will come to that now. Mandatory, technically optional, and how to choose. Now, important thing is, when you select your competencies, you need to check what is your day-to-day job looks like. So based on your experience, so based on your day-to-day practice, you have to select your competencies. So that would be easy for you to follow and go through the process. Okay. Again, you can download this from RICS, and if you try to sit for the APC interviews, you have to read it, and it is straightforward as well. So one important thing is, you can see here, there are 3 levels. I will come to that now. So they have given examples, what is the level 1, 2, 3 looks like for each and every competency. And then at the end of this pathway guide, they have a study checklist. So this checklist is very important if you go for APC interviews. So this checklist will guide what are the things you should learn for individual competency. So what I used to tell to all my candidates is, take a copy of this study checklist and make sure that you have an understanding of all of them. Okay, and then even when you are going through the structured training, you have to take this checklist and make sure that you try to capture and cover all these areas in your structured training. Okay, so each and every competency, they have given a kind of a guideline or checklist. What are the things should be covered? Now, for example, if I go to the contract practice, contract practice includes principles of contract law, legislation, current case law, standard forms of conditions, assignment and novation. So you should be having a thorough understanding of all of them actually. Yeah. So you would understand that if you go through this entire process, at the end of it, the output would be a very strong, all-rounded professional. So that is the intention of RICS as well. Right. I hope there's a Q&A. There's a Q&A going on. No. Okay. Sure. Charita is asking, can we have link for APC candidate guide? Yeah, we have already given that. So today, Johan also supporting me. He's also a chartered surveyor, and so two of us are doing today this presentation. Right. I think we have got a understanding about the pathway guide, and you have an understanding about mandatory technical and technical optional competencies. Now let's go and see how we select the competencies and what are the competencies available. So first, the 10 mandatory competencies are divided into three. Ethics, client care, communication, negotiation, health and safety, and the others. You can see ethics goes up to level 3. What do you mean by level 3, level 2, and level 1? Let's go to first that, and then we'll come back to this slide. Now, levels means each competency is defined at 3 levels of attainment. You must reach the required level in a logical progression and in successive stages. So level 1 means knowledge and understanding. You should have some knowledge and understanding on level 1. Level 2 means you should be able to put that knowledge into the application. That means you should be able to do that work. Level 3 means you should be able to give advice to a client, and that advice should be very well reasoned and should have depth of knowledge. Yeah. So if I take a day-to-day example for this, if you can learn to drive from books, then that is called level 1. You read the book, you know the road signs, all the rules, that is level 1. And if you know how to drive, that is level 2. And if you can teach someone else to drive, that is level 3. So that is what this is all about. So let's go to the previous slide. So you can see here, ethics, rules of conduct and professionalism goes up to level 3. You should be able to give reasoned advice on that. Level 2, client care, communication, negotiation, and health and safety. You should be able to demonstrate that you can apply that knowledge. So others, level 1. But if you go to the core competencies, you can see here, all of them are level 3. So this is very important. So when you go to the interview, or when you write in a summary of experience and all, the RICS expect you to go up to level 3. Yeah, I will explain you how to achieve that. Now, very important, when you select these core competencies, the construction technology, contract practice, procurement and tendering, project financial controlling and reporting, quantification and costing, that 5 competencies are common. Okay, but say for instance, if you're working in a contractor side as a contract quantity survey, then you should select commercial management. That is mainly focused on how to maintain profit of a contracting company. But if you're working in a consultant or client side, it's better you select design economics and cost planning, because you are trying to manage the budgets in the pre-construction stage. Yeah, so you should use that. Now, optional competencies, you can select one of them from all of these lists. And optional competencies, they expect you to achieve level 2. Okay, so usually I am suggesting my candidates to choose contract administration and probably conflict avoidance, because if you see here in the mandatory competencies, conflict avoidance is there, so it's a repeat. If you select that, so you don't have to, it will not be an additional burden to you if you select that. And if you select contract administration, it will be part of the contract practice as well in the core competencies. So you'll be covered from that as well. So your burden from the optional competencies can be reduced. But if you like any other competency, of course you can select it. Okay, and this particular information I have taken from the pathway guide. Right, levels we discussed just now. I hope you understand that.